Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a really wild scenario. What if one country could use a single metal to basically hold the global economy hostage? It's a fascinating thought. Let's get right into it.
Okay, but before we go any further, I just want to be super clear about something. What we're talking about today is a hypothetical. It's a what-if situation, set just a couple of years from now, in 2026. Think of it as a stress test for the global economy, based on trends that are already happening right now.
All right, so let's set the scene. The year is 2025, and silver has just had an absolutely insane year. We're talking a price jump of 145%. To put that in perspective, it blew past the stock market, it even left gold eating its dust. A massive, massive rally.
And then, bam, January 1st, 2026, the whole game just changes. China, which, is the world's #1 supplier of silver, decides to just turn off the tap. They completely restrict all silver exports to the United States. Just like that.
You can imagine, a move like that sends absolute shockwaves through the global markets. I mean, everybody is left scrambling, asking the exact same questions. What is really going on here, and why would they do this now?
Okay, so let's unpack this. To really understand why this happened, you have to know it wasn't just one single event. It was more like a perfect storm, a bunch of different factors all colliding at once back in 2025.
And really, it all comes down to three things. 1, demand for silver just went through the roof. 2, the supply got squeezed super tight. And 3, the government had to react.
So first, let's talk about demand. Our modern economy is just thirsty for silver. Think about it. It's in everything. The giant data centers powering AI, all those new solar panels for green energy, and especially electric vehicles. Get this, an EV needs about 70 cents more silver than a gas-powered car. So yeah, demand wasn't just high, it was becoming insatiable.
Okay, so you've got this explosion in demand, right? Now, let's flip over and look at the supply side. The whole world was relying on one single country, China, for a whopping 70% of its silver. That's a lot. It's not just a big number. It's a massive, glaring vulnerability in the global supply chain.
So you've got this perfect storm brewing, insane demand, and one country holding most of the cards. This basically forced the US government's hand. So in late 2025, they officially label silver a critical mineral. And that's just government speak for, this isn't just about money anymore. This is a matter of national security.
And that's where things get really interesting. Because this whole situation, it's not actually just about silver. Not really. It's a calculated move, a chess piece in a much, much bigger economic war for who's going to be on top.
So, here's the lay of the land today. The US still has the world's biggest economy, no question. We're talking a GDP of around $30.5 trillion. That's a good bit larger than China's economy.
But, and this is a huge but, it's not just about who's biggest right now. It's about who's growing fastest. And that's China. Their economy is expanding at a quicker pace, and a lot of experts think it's only a matter of time, maybe a couple of decades, before they actually overtake the US.
So when you see that, China's move to restrict silver suddenly makes a lot more sense. It wasn't some random act. No way. It was a direct counterpunch. The US has been putting up tariffs, trying to bring manufacturing back home, and, let's be honest, trying to slow down China's growth. This silver restriction, it's China punching back, using its economic leverage.
Okay, so this is all fascinating, high-level geopolitical chess, right? But what does it actually mean for you, for your daily life? Well, this is where it really hits home, right in your wallet.
And this is what makes silver such a unique and powerful economic weapon. We all think of gold as the ultimate safe haven. It's like an insurance policy against a weak dollar. But silver's different. It's a hybrid asset. It's part safe haven, but it's also a critical ingredient in the engine of our industrial economy. You can't build EVs or solar panels without it.
So what happens when the cost of a vital ingredient like silver just shoots through the roof? Well, the companies that make everything from our phones to our cars have a simple and pretty tough choice. They can either eat the cost and make smaller profits, or they can pass that extra cost directly on to you, the consumer. And we all know what that's called: inflation.
All right, so let's bring this all together. For our final section, let's put on our investor hats for a minute and think about how you would even begin to navigate this kind of a crazy, uncertain new landscape.
Okay, so if you're an investor looking at a situation like this, you kind of have to form a thesis, right? You have to make a bet on what you think happens next. Do you think silver prices are just going to keep booming? Or maybe you believe US manufacturing is going to get a huge boost and replace that Chinese supply? Or maybe another country entirely steps up to fill a void?
And each one of those beliefs, each thesis, points you toward a totally different investment strategy. Like if you're betting on a U.S. manufacturing resurgence, you might look at ETFs focused on U.S. industrials or infrastructure. Now, of course, this is just an example. It's definitely not financial advice, but it's a great way to see how these huge global events can be traced all the way down to specific moves in the market.
When you step back, this whole hypothetical silver crisis is really just a powerful reminder of how interconnected everything is, but also how fragile it can be. It really leaves us with a pretty big question to think about, doesn't it? As the world seems to be splitting into these new economic blocks and supply chains are being redrawn, where do you think the next perfect storm is going to hit?